The invitation arrived as a beam of light, not metaphorically, literally. At 3:17 Coordinated Universal Time, every major satellite network on Earth synchronized and projected a single geometric symbol into the upper atmosphere. It shimmered above continents in faint, luminous arcs, visible even in daylight. Below it, a message appeared simultaneously in every written language known to humanity. Attend. Coordinates followed. Within hours, governments confirmed what astronomers had already suspected. A vast alien vessel had entered orbit, larger than any structure humanity had ever built. It did not threaten. It did not fire. It simply waited, and it summoned us. 5 representatives were requested. Not 5 nations. 5 individuals. The selection process was chaotic, political, and tense. Military leaders demanded inclusion. Scientists argued for expertise. Diplomats fought for neutrality. In the end, the chosen 5 were an astrophysicist, a cultural anthropologist, a linguist, a military observer, and me. I was none of those things. I was a historian. Specifically, I studied the rise and fall of empires. Apparently, that was relevant. The vessel in orbit looked like a crescent blade of obsidian wrapped around a glowing core. Smaller escort ships flanked it like silent sentinels. We were transported aboard in a craft that didn't move so much as dissolve space between 2 points. Inside, the air felt thinner but breathable. The walls were smooth and luminous, pulsing faintly with patterns like distant constellations. We were guided through corridors by hovering constructs shaped like elongated diamonds. No visible propulsion. No visible seams. Remember, the lead diplomat whispered, we represent all of humanity. No pressure. We were led into a vast chamber, a hall large enough to contain a cathedral. At its center rose a circular platform surrounded by tiered seating that curved upward into shadows. Seated there were beings unlike anything we had imagined. They were tall, 7, maybe 8 feet, slender, with elongated limbs and skin that shimmered like polished stone. Their eyes glowed faintly in hues of blue and silver. Their garments appeared grown rather than woven, flowing seamlessly from their forms. An alien court, and at the highest tier, upon a throne-like structure that floated gently above the rest, sat someone different. Her skin carried a faint iridescent sheen, shifting subtly between pale violet and silver. A circlet of crystalline structures hovered around her head, rotating slowly like fragments of a halo. Even before I knew her title, I knew her importance. A voice resonated, not through speakers, but through the architecture itself. Representatives of Earth, you stand before the sovereign court of Lorentha. The voice belonged to a tall figure seated near the center, and before Her Highness, Princess Aileron, heir of the Celestial Dominion.
So that was who she was.
The alien princess. Her gaze moved across us slowly, assessing. We were instructed through translated mental impulses to take seats among the lower tiers. A gesture from one of the attendants indicated an arc of empty places. I scanned the hall. The astrophysicist immediately chose a seat near the front. The diplomat followed. The anthropologist and linguist settled beside them, whispering urgently. The military observer hesitated, then sat stiffly at the end of the row. That left me. I didn't want the front. I didn't want attention. I preferred corners, observing, analyzing, remaining unnoticed. So I walked along the curved platform, searching for an empty seat farther back. That's when it happened. A hand, cool, firm, unmistakably strong, closed around my wrist. The chamber fell silent. I turned slowly. Princess Aileron had risen from her floating throne. Her eyes, liquid silver, luminous, were fixed on me. "Sit beside me," she commanded. Her voice did not echo. It pressed. Every alien in the chamber shifted slightly, a ripple of tension passing through them. The 5 of us had been told to sit below. She was inviting, no, ordering me to her side. I began, unsure whether I was allowed to speak. Her grip tightened, not painfully, but decisively. Beside me. I glanced at my colleagues. The diplomat's face had gone pale. The military observer looked as though he wanted to intervene and had no idea how. There was no refusing. I allowed her to guide me up the ascending tiers, past silent rows of alien nobles, until we reached the elevated platform. A second seat materialized beside her throne, emerging seamlessly from the floor. She released my wrist and gestured. "Sit."
I did.
And the moment I did, the entire court erupted, not in chaos, but in murmurs. Low, resonant vibrations that carried the unmistakable tone of shock. Princess Aileron remained calm. "You will remain here," she said softly, so only I could hear. "I wish to observe you." Middle, the seat of uncertainty. The session began as a formal evaluation of Earth. One by one, members of the sovereign court spoke, each addressing different aspects of humanity. Our analysis indicates a species prone to territorial conflict. Environmental destabilization continues at accelerated rates. Technological growth suggests potential expansion beyond planetary boundaries within 3 of your centuries. Their assessments were clinical,
Precise.
dispassionate. Beside me, Aileron listened intently, her gaze occasionally drifting toward me. Not the delegation below. Not humanity as a whole.
Me.
"You are uncomfortable," she observed quietly. "A little," I admitted. "You prefer the periphery." "Yes."
Why?
"Better view from there." She considered that. "You are a historian." "Yes." "You study empires." "I do." "Tell me," she said, eyes still forward, "how many empires endured without conflict?" "None," I replied. A faint flicker crossed her expression. "And how many endured without change?" "Also none." Below us, the diplomat was speaking passionately about human resilience, creativity, cooperation. Aileron leaned slightly closer. "Your world stands at a threshold," she said. "Within our dominion, there is debate." "About conquering us?" I asked quietly. "About incorporating you." "Is there a difference?" "Yes." She turned to face me fully. "Incorporation preserves. Conquest reshapes." "And alliance?" I asked.
She paused.
"Alliance requires trust." Her hand hovered near mine on the armrest, not touching, but close. "You were not afraid when I summoned you." "I was terrified," I said honestly. "You did not resist." I didn't see the point. Her lips curved faintly. Pragmatic. The court's central figure, a towering elder with crystalline ridges along his temples, rose. "Princess Aileron," he intoned, "your choice to elevate a human representative to your side is irregular." "I am aware," she replied calmly. "It signals preference. It signals curiosity." The elder's gaze shifted to me. "This human is not the leader of his species." "No," she agreed. "He is not." "Then why him?" She did not look away from me as she answered. "Because he sought distance, not prominence." A murmur rippled through the chamber. I swallowed. This was bigger than symbolism. This was politics. Over the next several hours, I remained beside her as arguments intensified. One faction, led by the crystalline elder, advocated structured incorporation. Humanity would retain cultural identity but surrender autonomous expansion. Another faction, quieter but no less firm, argued that Earth's volatility made it a long-term threat. Better to limit its technological progress now. A third, small but vocal, suggested non-interference. Leave Earth isolated. And you? I asked Aileron softly. I am air, she said. My voice carries influence, not finality. That sounds complicated. It is. She leaned closer. You study empires. Tell me what happens when a rising power is constrained. I didn't hesitate. It resents. And when it is ignored, it grows without guidance. And when it is crushed, it either disappears or becomes legend. She considered that deeply. Below, the military observer from Earth was asked about our defensive capabilities. He answered honestly, though the disparity between our strength and theirs was almost laughable. You could erase us, I whispered. Yes, she said. Why haven't you? Her gaze softened. Because destruction is simple. Stewardship is not. The elder rose again. We must decide. The Dominion cannot linger indefinitely in orbit of a primitive world. Primitive. I felt a flicker of irritation. Aileron stood. The chamber quieted instantly. I have observed the human species extensively, she began. Through data, through analysis, and now through proximity. Her hand brushed mine lightly, intentional. This one sought a seat in shadow. My pulse quickened. He did not posture. He did not plead. He observed. She turned to the court. Such restraint is not weakness. It is perspective. The elder's crystalline features hardened. You risk sentiment clouding judgment. On the contrary, she said evenly. I propose engagement, a sharp intake of breath, audible even among alien physiology. Engagement, she repeated. Not incorporation. Not withdrawal. Structured alliance. The word hung in the air. Alliance requires equality, the elder countered. They are centuries behind. Time is not the only measure of worth, she replied. Silence. Then, quietly, she added, if we deny them autonomy, we create opposition. If we ignore them, we create unpredictability. If we engage them, we create partnership. Her gaze met mine again. And partnership begins with trust. The fracture. The vote was not unanimous. The faction advocating limitation, subtle technological suppression, refused to concede. As debate escalated, energy readings within the vessel shifted. Lights dimmed momentarily. What's happening? I asked. Aileron's expression tightened. An unauthorized fleet movement. A holographic projection flared to life in the center of the chamber. 3 Dominion warships detached from the main formation and began descending toward Earth's upper atmosphere. Gasps, low, resonant, filled the hall. They intend demonstration, the elder said grimly. A show of dominance. Without consensus? Aileron demanded. They believe delay signals weakness. Her hand gripped mine, harder this time. If they deploy suppression fields, your planet's infrastructure will collapse. My mind raced. Can you stop them? I can countermand, she said. But doing so fractures unity. And if you don't? She didn't answer. Through the projection, I could see Earth, blue, unaware, beneath descending alien vessels. Do it, I said. Intervening publicly will solidify opposition within the Dominion. Let them oppose, I replied. If you want alliance, it can't start with intimidation. She studied me for half a heartbeat. Then she released my hand and stepped forward. By authority vested in the heir of Lorentha, she declared, her voice amplifying across the ship and beyond, I issue immediate recall of Vessels 3, 7, and 9. The holographic image flickered. The warships paused. A tense silence. Then, they halted descent. Slowly, reluctantly, They retreated back toward orbital position. The chamber erupted in overlapping frequencies: outrage, relief, accusation. The elder rose, furious. "You undermine cohesion." "I preserve credibility," she shot back. She turned, eyes blazing silver. "If we approach a species demanding trust while demonstrating coercion, we guarantee hostility." Her gaze swept the court. "I will not rule through fear." The silence that followed was profound, because she had just declared something larger than policy. She had declared intention, ending the seat beside her. The decision came 3 rotations later. Alliance. Conditional, gradual, cautious, but alliance. Earth would retain sovereignty. Cultural exchange programs would begin. Shared research initiatives would form. Defensive pacts, mutual, not imposed, would be drafted. When the announcement reached Earth, reactions were explosive. Celebration, skepticism, protest. But the sky did not burn. The Dominion fleet remained, no longer looming, but watchful. On my final day aboard the vessel, I stood once more in the Great Hall. This time, the tension felt different, less sharp. Princess Aelern approached me, not as sovereign above subject, but as something closer to equal. "You will return to your world," she said. "Yes." "You will advise your leaders." "I'll try." She studied me carefully. "When I first summoned you, you sought distance." "I did." "And now?" I glanced at the empty space beside her throne. "I suppose I'm getting used to better views." A faint smile touched her features. "You changed the discourse." "I didn't do much." "You did not resist my command," she said. "But you did not surrender your perspective either." She stepped closer. "In our court, proximity signifies trust." I hesitated. "Then why me?" Her answer came without pause. "Because you did not seek the seat." The platform beneath us hummed softly as transport coordinates aligned. I extended my hand. She looked at it for a moment, then clasped it firmly. Her grip was strong, steady. "Will I see you again?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "Alliance is not a singular event. It is a process." "And if factions rise again?" "They will," she replied calmly. "Empires are not free of tension." Historian to heir. We both understood that. The transport light enveloped me. As Earth's gravity reclaimed me and familiar skies came into view, I thought about that moment. The cool strength of her hand on my wrist, the command that shifted history. I had looked for a seat in the shadows. Instead, I was pulled into the light. Not because I was powerful, not because I was important, but because I was willing to observe before speaking. Years later, when students ask me what it felt like to sit beside an alien princess at the turning point of history, I tell them the truth. It was terrifying. It was overwhelming. And it was the moment humanity stopped standing alone. Because sometimes the future doesn't begin with grand speeches or battles. Sometimes it begins when someone unexpected is invited to sit beside power.
And chooses to stay.